was young, so my parents are incredibly brilliant. They're multi-degreed. Even my step-parents are all incredibly brilliant, multi-degreed. And so there was a lot of intimidation to perform and be and all the things, right? And so I remember going to my parents and asking them just simple questions like, what's this or what's that? And their common response to me would be, go look it up, right? And this was back when, Encyclopedia Britannica was really big and everybody had one in their house. And so literally I would have to go and look in these encyclopedias and go to the indexes and look everything up. And this is way before Google. This is way before iPhones. This is way before we had all this information at our fingertips. We had to go to the library and then do a decimal system, and we had to go check books out and the whole business, right? And so I really appreciate that because it gave me some grit. It gave me some ability to be relentless in my research. And now, as a naturopathic doctor and a holistic doctor, I'm able to transform that and use that. I'm always curious. I'm always asking myself why. I'm always not just settling for the top answer, right? And one thing always leads to another, which leads to another, and we go down all these amazing rabbit holes. And the body is endless. You can learn so much from the body. Nobody on this planet knows everything about the body. That's why they always call it a practice, because we're always practicing, we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always evolving. And if we stop growing, we stop evolving, and we assume that we know everything, I feel like that's when we really do a disservice to our patients, because we're not being curious anymore. We're not questioning things. We're not getting outside of the box. These days, we have so many toxins running into our bodies. We have so many environmental factors. We have so many lifestyle related. We also have so many mental and emotional imbalances going on with so many different people, not to mention all the genetic implications from all the toxicity that's been passed down through our DNA. So now we really have all these giant puzzle pieces called humans to really figure out. So that's why I love the practice of healthcare and holistic medicine, because it's never one thing. It's always a combination of things. You're always growing, you're always learning, you're always evolving, and you're always meeting yourself every 30 minutes. I had a dear friend who once asked me, why do you do what you do? Because it's very taxing on you mentally and emotionally, because you're literally meeting yourself every 30 minutes. Some aspect of yourself you have to see and feel and experience. Sometimes you have to take a stand with patients. Sometimes you can't agree with them all the time. Sometimes you have to deliver really hard and sometimes seemingly harsh news to them, because sometimes their ego is involved. Sometimes they are stuck. Sometimes they don't want to move forward because they want to continue to sabotage themselves. So you have to really be a leader, be forceful, still compassionate and loving, but you have to take a stand, because if you don't, it could mean that patient not succeeding or not getting well. I'll give you some examples, right? So a lot of times, oncology patients will come into my practice. A lot of times too, they have gone to the oncologist, and I've had multiple cases like this. So I'll tell you about one particular. So I had this oncology case. She had lymphoma with, I think, cancer to the jaw. It's been years now. And she came to me, we call it looking for a Hail Mary. And so she went to the oncologist. The oncologist pretty much lined it out to her, surgery, chemo, radiation, the whole shot, and really put the fear of God into her, actually, unfortunately. And she was petrified. She wasn't able to really deal with it, wasn't really able to look at it. So she just went home and just didn't deal with it at all, did nothing. And then eventually she saw, one of my videos or something, she saw me somewhere and came into my office, again, looking for the Hail Mary. The Hail Mary is, I'm supposed to have some magic something, some magic pill, some magic cure, some magic, right? And wave it around her, and then boom, it's all gonna go away, right? And it had accelerated because the time she spent. So I had to really stop and say to her, you know what? At this point, this tumor, I looked at all her medical records, all her labs, all the information. I said, this tumor is hot and heavy, and if we do not slow it down with an allopathic approach, unfortunately, right, I'm trained in integrative medicine, so I work alongside allopathic medical doctors all the time. So I said, look, we have to deal with this at an allopathic level, but what I can do is monitor your nutrition, make sure we keep your weight up, we make sure, that we're maintaining your health while while we're also fighting and managing the disease. I was like, if you don't like that oncologist, we'll find you another one that resonates with you. But at the end of the day, I will not treat you unless you go and see and start the treatment. I can't tell you how many patients I've had to say, I refuse to treat you, refuse to give you any holistic options until you do what you need to do, right? It's not us against them in holistic healthcare, naturopathy. It's the best for the patient. We put the patient first because we take an oath to first do no harm. So if we are so motivated to it only being natural, we lose the sight of the patient, we lose the sight of what has to happen. I've also had other cases too where they've come in, it's been stage 1s, really healthy for the most part, and the recommendations were super harsh, like double mastectomy, chemo, radiation, and we've been able to work the case and they've been able to recover pretty easily. So every single individual is unique and different, and so we really want to make sure that we're taking a very individualized, customized approach while also standing our ground when we need to, because really at the end of the day, the patient's life is on the line.